Let's get started. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bow our heads, please. Dear Lord, please hope everybody gets here tonight safely and learns from our wonderful presentation we have here. Please protect all of our aviators, and let's hope that the people affected by the dual hurricanes get back on their feet as fast as possible. In His name we pray. Amen. All right. I hear voices over there, so. Okay. There it is. All right. Well, so far, looks like we've got one guest. This is, like I said, I knew, a new one. Okay, just walked in. All right. You've come at the perfect time to introduce yourself.
Stand up, man. My name is Isaac Heldorn. I just passed my private pilot check ride.
All right, congratulations.
And my buddy Harrison has been in Civil Air Patrol for a while. He says it's really good, really resourceful, so I was interested in joining.
Excellent. Perfect. Oh, you flew today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go. All right. Excellent. Well, Isaac.
Yes, Isaac.
Good to meet you, Isaac. All right.
Josh Willoughby, and so active duty Army, and been fun for the Army for about 6-7 years. Most people just heard what I just said before. So just new to Fort Irwin, about 2 hours away, and looking to continue flying more than the Army is allowing me to right now. But I got about 1,200 hours. Majority of that's flying in Europe, but love to learn, see what CAP can offer, and what I can offer CAP as well. So.
All right. All right. Thanks, Josh. Woo-hoo. All right. Well, I know technically we don't have any updates from the members today, but I know individuals have some things to talk about events, so we'll move on to get to those. This is a reminder for those who are on review boards, which right now is only Kathy, who's here present. We make sure that we start kind of getting our thoughts together. I mean, promotion board is pretty straightforward because for seniors we don't process that out very often. But as far as awards, keep an eye. If people see people doing good, we reward them. There was an update on the vehicle status that I didn't get in time, so I'll go ahead and copy it for everyone. Let's see. Well, I guess. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've got 887 Charlie Papa.
Sitting in the hangar right now.
Sitting in the hangar right now. And it is it mission capable or is it got a yellow? Okay.
It has one discrepancy, but
all right.
Yeah.
Excellent. We still don't know what's going on with the 172, so don't ask me. They don't tell me anything in this outfit. Is it still hanging out in Arizona? Caught the 310 to Yuma? No. We still have a Tahoe. That Tahoe still needs a key fob. I'm still working on that issue, or one of us are. We have the new key fob. Need to schedule for programming. Correct. For those of you who like camping, so I believe it's a Group 3-7 SAR-X rescheduled for today. Is that right? That can't be right. Are they starting today? I mean, I just copy what I see in my email, so let me see. Let me look really quick.
That would be weird on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I guess they wrote it wrong. It's got to be November 22nd. That's what I'm thinking. But, whatever. We'll
When you can share your screen, please.
Oh, that'd be good. We need to share screens. We should always.
22nd is a Friday, so that makes a little more sense.
I think that does make a little more sense.
also in Sierra is in November.
So, if like I said, if you're
Yeah, they mentioned in the emails is camping.
if you're into that sort of thing, yeah, we're gonna do that here. We're assuming this that if you're into that sort of thing, they do say it's kind of an advanced RX, as they say. So I haven't heard anything about aircrew yet. I'm assuming they're going to need aircrew. It'll be interesting since we no longer have our turbo aircraft, so doing any search and rescue practice in Big Bear will be interesting. Most mission pilots won't be qualified to do it because most mission pilots currently don't have Mountain Fury. For those of you who don't know, our mission pilots require something called Mountain Fury to unlock their ability to go above 7,500 feet of density altitude, which in most days around here is pretty low. So obviously that rule is an interesting rule. It doesn't. I think they skirt around it in some cases, but I haven't heard anything about aircrew, so I don't know about that. But I hear is you should be self-sufficient for a couple days with your own food and water. So if you like that kind of stuff, this RX is for you. They might also have base staff positions and whatnot. So if you're so inclined, I can send you the email so you can get the link to register. The PCR region conference. So we just had Wing Conference. It's a reminder if you find yourself wandering up to Portland, Oregon in April, you can go to a region conference as well. For those of us that are level 2 and looking to get level 3, that's another opportunity to get to a conference that does check the box on attending conferences. Questions so far? No. I'm moving quickly because we have a big presentation to get to. Let's see. So nothing that I'm aware of on overrides or crew training. Sarax, we kind of talked about it, but nobody's going from the squadron so far. A reminder of recruitment opportunities. Number one, we need a recruitment officer. So if you like talking to people about CAP and you want to do that, please see me. This is also a reminder of good places to do some recruiting is at the antique aircraft display. So the local aircraft, and I mean local airports, they have these display days, as we call it. So those of us who own old aircraft, antique aircraft, and I'm air quoting because I think that goes up to 1975, which I wouldn't call an antique, but you can go to these airports at these times with your aircraft and get signed off for tax exemption purposes. So it's a good time to kind of collect and be around people talking aircraft. I personally go to the Corona Municipal one because that's where I'm based. A reminder of next week is Nighthawk. So the old squadron, we used to do our night proficiency and qualifications on the fifth Tuesday. Every fifth Tuesday that popped up. It's kind of, become more of just a gathering. So instead of a normal meeting like we're doing tonight, we will start earlier at 6 p.m. and in the hangar, and we'll do a little barbecue and, burgers and dogs and just kind of, have a little get together in the hangar. So that's next week. So bring your stomachs, I guess. But are we sending out a? Okay, excellent. So if you are bringing a guest, please make sure you account so that I know how much food to bring. I'm bringing just the stuff that goes on the grill. Everyone else can kind of bring other things as well. All right. There's a event called Salute to Veterans at Flaybob on the 9th, 9 o'clock to, well, it looks like it's most of the day. So if you want to do something after you've voted and you want something to kind of take your mind off of that, it's a good event to go to. And then a reminder that December 10th is our chosen date for the Christmas dinner. So it's going to be at the Old Spaghetti Factory in Riverside. So once again, prepare to bring your significant others or friends. Not so much kids. I don't know. We haven't talked about kids, but I haven't seen kids there since I've been here. So I don't think we do kids. Dave, do we do kids?
No, I have not seen them since I've been here either.
So leave those kids at home. You bring your stomach and anyways. That'll be our Christmas dinner. Reminders: pilot onboarding, as Paul knows. But if you are like this guy, a pilot who wants to actually get your CAP flight certifications, we have what's called pilot onboarding. So if you're looking to fly for CAP and you're already a pilot, we do have kind of there's an official process that you have to go through, and I'll explain it in detail a little bit later. But I mean, not as the meeting, but there's some bureaucracy you have to get through to be able to fly a CAP plane, no matter how many hours you have as an active pilot. But don't worry, we've made it as streamlined as we possibly can get. I'm not seeing too many people who would have ICS 300, so I'll just skip the next one. Some FEMA training. So there's two. I wrote down the reminder to set up your multi-factor authentication for O365, but also if you are a new member or you hear about new members signing up and they go, I haven't gotten my email from COG, it's because we're out of licenses. So we're working on that issue, and there is no resolution date, but it's an open issue, and we're working it actively. Well, I say we, region is working it actively. So if you hear about people not getting their COG emails, that's why. Our aerospace education officers, our reports are due at the 30th, and I've already gotten a couple nasty grams, not directed at us, just the nasty grams of please get those reports in. So
They sent out a big email at the end of September saying, wait till the end of October, saying make sure you put in all of your paperwork and got all of your activities done.
nice.
So
they wanted to make sure you got all the way through the fiscal year before the report goes out.
they
Okay.
want to make sure that everything that they said it in the email saying,
Don't do it early.
don't do it early. Make sure you guys have time to get all your activities in.
So basically they want from October 1st, and they start bugging you to get it done. Okay. So as long as you guys are aware,
Plan on going after tonight because of
because this is an event that you have to lot. Yeah, I get you. I'm sitting here like, though, for those of you who don't know, I'm obviously new commander here, and there's a lot that goes on in the changeover, and all of it just comes at you left and right. I'm like, is this serious or not? I don't know. They're using really horrible language. So, anyways, all right. I'm gonna kind of. I don't know. I want to give you time, but I also we'll do the presentation, and if there's enough time left over, we can do debriefs. Okay, because you've got a debrief and Michelle's got a debrief.
well, you got time for this because it's not like you have any AE.
Yeah, this isn't an hour presentation. Well, okay.
Mine will be very quick.
Okay.
You're good with it? Okay. So let me see if I can share my screen.
You wanna come up here or?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Hopefully I'm not going to do this properly.
Oh, do I need to stop sharing?
Not sure. This works. Ah, there it is. Oh, it actually works. Okay. So, actually, I'm short, so I'm going to go over here.
Now I have to aim it. Oh, good lord.
Can you see me? Yeah. All right. So this past Saturday, we had our Planes and Treats event over at the KREL Airport in conjunction with the Riverside Airport Cafe. We were there, Senior Squadron 5, as well as Playbob, which is our Cadet Squadron 31, and about, I think, maybe 50 to 100 vendors, I believe. The attendees were about 15,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that's double last year. We're kind of surprised about that, actually. So here are those who went. It was a great event. It was very fun. We actually also had Commander Gapison, thank you, and his group there.
Or is it Capacity?
Yeah, I'm still worried about that. I always pronounce it wrong. We had our booth set up. We had our tent. We had a lot of people come by. As you can see, we even had some of our aerospace education material out. And we had a lot of great people come by. As you can see, we had little ones dressed in airplanes outfits, in an actual airplane. It was very cute. Our biggest hit, thanks to Kathy, was our rocks. Because the winds were so bad the day before, it was like gusting 42, I believe it was, we needed something to keep our papers down because papers were flying all over the place. So Kathy drew some painted some rocks. It was great. It kept everything down, and it became the hit party because everyone wanted to take them. Yes. And here they are. Like I said, they were great. A lot of people were asking, can we take them? Can we have them? Is there a place to paint them?
They went by and we said, fundraiser.
The lines were very long. Very long. I mean, the first one over at the other farther corner was going into the airport. The other two were basically going down to Arlington. It was literally wrapped around the block to the point where they had to cut off the line, I think at around, it was 7:30, I believe. Yeah. We also
the whole city that showed up.
it may have been.
I think that's the population.
We were also prepared for nighttime as well, so we set up a bunch of lights so we can be visible. Chris was able to set up your presentation from last week on our.
I did a presentation. I don't do presentations.
On our monitor, and they were able to watch the presentation as they were walking by. We talked to a lot of CFIs as well about the whole Civil Air Patrol. We also had Maverick playing as well. It was actually really cool. And of course, these were our great cadets. They were very helpful. I sent out an email to, we have 8 squadrons in our group, not including us. And Flaybob's commander reached out, and they were very helpful, and their cadets were amazing to work with. Hopefully we get to work with them again. But yeah, it was a great turnout. It was amazing. This was last year's goals. As you can see, a lot of things were crossed out. We were able to get some of those accomplished. We're still working on partnering with other squadrons, of course. Our main goal for the future is for maybe those who are not able to make it, maybe they can help by donating bags of candy, because we ran out of candy we still had about an hour and a half left of the event, and we ran out of candy.
Nope.
So yeah, so maybe have a candy donation box somewhere where everyone can maybe donate a bag or two. That would be great. Maybe a face painting area for kids. We were thinking about rocks, but that might be a little bit too messy. So painting.
So we can just paint it on their face.
Exactly. Group level support. Maybe now that we know who the commander is, hopefully we could.
Who's our group commander again? I'm not sure. I don't remember.
We could utilize his participation, and maybe he can put in a word to get more people. I know Hamlet may not be able to make it, or Palm Springs, because they are far away.
That's what they have planes for. Although I think we stole Palm Springs planes.
But at least a little bit more participations we can have. With 15,000 people, our cadets were hustling. It was a lot for them, but they did a wonderful job.
Which cadets did we get?
We had Flayball, 30.
Okay.
Yes.
30.
5 of them. 5
Oh,
of them.
5. I was like 30. Wow.
Squadron
Like,
31.
Squadron 31, 5 cadets, yes.
Yeah, because if we could definitely get, Corona's our cadet squadron, and I
Yes.
know their commander pretty well.
Corona.
Chino, I don't know Chino.
Chino has it.
Redlands is very active.
Yeah.
They're going to help us out next
We
week.
can use more adults too.
And
Yeah.
yes, a lot more adults. That would have been great, so we can rotate on the booth.
But it's more fun to crack the whip with the cadets.
And maybe have a second booth. That would be great, so that if we have our plane available, we can be inside the terminal. Inside the the flight line. Thank you. And maybe have a second booth for that as well. And maybe put together some of these packets, because they were individual leaflets, but the thought didn't occur to me until afterwards, and we were brainstorming. Maybe put them together beforehand, and maybe we can utilize maybe a meeting at some point to have the members here help us out in prepping everything. So those are some of the goals I came up with. Anyone else who was there might want to add to that, to the group, and what you experienced?
Next year, Major Benner has a 172 cockpit from the March Aero Club. He has it on a trailer. They painted it red, white, and blue to match the CAP colors. And all the lights and instruments work in flash. And the kids can sit in both of those things and push buttons. So it's available, I know, but that's Squadron 45, I believe. So you may want to
Reach out
just
to
keep
them.
that in the back of your mind for next year. I never gave it a thought. I would
No,
mention it to him, see what they could do.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a big hit.
it
for all
would be
those kids.
definitely, especially if we were on the flight line and were able to do that. But like I said, this is just a quick presentation. It was great. Maybe those who were there can add what your experience was and how crazy it was. But it was amazing.
It was great. We could have used more help.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely a lot more help.
But it turned out well. We did it. We made it, and it was fun.
I know, but Redlands, the city bought to the airport $3,000 worth of candy. So if you look at the bags that Costco has at $39, that's 100 bags. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but last year they ran out. And then they ran down to Stater Brothers and bought more. And you've got the Redlands Airport Association donating candy also. So I'm not sure whether they're going to, 10 to 1, they'll run out of candy just like we did.
Oh, yeah.
Because each year the word gets around and it gets bigger, 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 bigger.
But yeah, that's it. Any other questions?
So good job.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Mr. Connor.
You got me as O'Connor.
Oh.
You got me as full
Connor.
Irish.
Connor.
No such thing as a little bit of Irish.
Exactly.
Well, if you drink Jameson's, it's a little bit of
I think I was drinking when I wrote that. That's probably why.
All right, so I'll be really brief. Had the opportunity to attend our wing conference. The highlight, of course, being our former squadron commander being promoted to major and becoming our group commander. So that was cool to see that exchange. So I've given them a handout, so I'm just going to highlight what's on there. It's really cool information. Just reminder, we are all aerospace education champions. I created that phrase. We're AECs. So a lot of times we rely on the AEOs to do all the AE stuff, but all of us have the opportunity to champion the aerospace education mission. I put a chart on there that shows that the United States is 19th in the world for mathematics. That's horrible.
19 comes before 20.
19th comes after Russia.
Oh, that makes no sense.
Comes after Germany, New Zealand, Switzerland, Ireland, but that's okay. So we have an opportunity, as all of us as part of CAP, to get out and spread the mission. There's a lot of resources online. All of us AEOs can help you if you have contacts or anything, so we can do that. Then from the emergency services standpoint, we are generally a flying squadron, and so we want to be able to have crews, whether you're air crew and you want to get up in the air, pilots, mission scanners, observers, photographers, or you don't want to get in the air, you want to keep your feet on the ground, radio operators, base staff, all those, we want to make sure everybody's got their emergency services, their ICUT, and getting on that so that when we do have a plane or two that are assigned to us, we can field an all Squadron 5 crew, because that would be really cool, being able to fly with each other, get to know each other's eccentricities. For pilots, so pilots, I put a chart there. In group 3, which is our Inland Empire, you'll see as of this date, October 3rd, there were only 7 CAP pilots. And only 3 of those were mission pilots. And you can see the other groups that are nearby. LA County has the most. And so we are working on making the onboarding process a lot smoother. So I've been in touch with our captain standards and our emergency services coordinators at Wing. This is one of the topics that came up, because one of the things that they said was that we were doing really good in flying, but we're falling behind in O-rides. And so our cadet population is expanding, and we're not keeping up with giving them their O-rides. So talking to a few IPs and other group commanders, they are more than willing to share the wealth There are IPs and check pilots out there who want to train people. There's one person, he said he sent out an email to his group to 10 new pilots and nobody responded. I know that's not us because we would have been all over that. But for example, they're out there. So you might have to drive or fly to go to some of the other groups, but there's opportunities to get trained. Good news just came out today. For those going through the onboarding process, they have raised the number of flights to 5. So now, instead of 2 to 3 self-funded or cap-funded flights, it's 5. So that's a lot of flights to be able to get out there to get onboarded. Also, this year, they want to make sure everyone is practicing a 5,000 AGL to land on an airport power off emergency procedure. So they want to get crews in that as well. So they want to load up a plane and go to 5,000, cut the power, and land on an airport. So
That's not hard at all.
the
What they ought to do is start at 2,500 and see what they're going to do.
well, we have to start at baby steps, Bob. Because we haven't been doing this in a while.
I can't do all the tricks of the trade.
And that's it. So now's an exciting time to be in CAP. We're growing in members, both on the cadet side and the senior side. And as Chris will tell you, we need help in all the different positions and step up so that we don't have people holding 7 hats. And if you have any questions about anything, info's on the memo. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Paul. I tell you, there's a lot of, since I've joined, there's the thing about multiple hats. But I'll tell you, this squadron particularly, we didn't do a lot with cadets. Like, that wasn't something that we typically had to do. So this is kind of new to see it. We start to integrate with the senior squadron, really kind of trying to lead this group in activities, and not just staying as kind of, we're senior squadrons and we go over here and we just do our little thing. This is really good to see. I mean, I've been here for a couple of years, and it's always been we're a little bit off to the side, and now we're really integrating. The other commanders do reach out for our help, so that's really good to see. And as far as wing conference, if you get a chance to go, you should go. Like, it's one of those times you're going to see more of CAP than you normally would see. More so than going to a SRX or an actual mission. You're gonna get to meet people. You're gonna get to make friends, and now there's faces behind the names when you reach out to your duty position counterparts, because we don't know everything. Everything that we learn here is on the job, including the commander position. So keep that all in mind. But thank you for the updates. I think Planes and Treats is turning into kind of an event that we need to really show the flag, so we'll step it up for next time. But excellent job this year. Excellent job last year too. I think it was overwhelming last year too, right?
Well, we were brand new.
I know.
We
Deer in
didn't have
headlights.
the tools we have now, so we're just going to add to those our buckets of tricks, I guess you can say.
Yeah, excellent. And the Planes, Treats, and Tricks. Anyways, okay. On to Chris. You want me to? Well, I already stopped sharing, so you should be good. And then you want me to? Are you going to share to that screen?
Yeah. Oh,
I'll jump out of it.
well, I'll figure out something here. Actually, if you just keep on sharing your screen, I'm going to share it to the meeting.
Okay. Oh, I'll vamp a little bit. I mean, I know we obviously talk a lot about pilots. This is a senior squadron. We do need pilots, as I mentioned. And specifically, if you've got that over 200 hour already under your belt, we really want to get you through onboarding, because 200 hours PIC is the low bar for flying cadets. So If you are approaching that, I think usually around 175 hours is where they start to kind of really get you into make sure you get TMP, make sure you get the ORIDE training done, so that you can immediately start flying cadets as a mission pilot once you complete that training. So, but that said, we as a senior squadron have a lot of other jobs we can do, right? So there's there's like we mentioned I'm not getting it on the share over here.
Yeah, we'll never do it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, so photographers, mission scanners, other parts of the air crew, we need all of those. So don't be discouraged if you're not a pilot. Anyways, back to Chris.
Sorry, since my technical difficulties. So, I know we have about 3 guests here tonight. Were any of you from at the Triple Planes and Treats and met us at the booth there? Okay. So yeah, as we said, we talked about, there were about 15,000 people, she said, at the Planes and Treats events. We talked to probably about 40 or so people, and we're anticipating a large turnout from them. Unfortunately, it didn't happen today. But so I'm going to more or less go over just the highlights on this part. This is an introduction to our 3 guests here. Who is a Civil Air Patrol? This is helpful information. We are the civilian auxiliary of the United States Air Force, founded in 1941 with 20,000 initial members, 20,000 plus, and it cost $200 to get that started that first year, because we're incredibly efficient. I guess you could say. Participated in World War II. They did 500,000 mission hours. Coastal Patrol, for it was 18 months, they found 173 U-boats, dropped 82 bombs. Yes, they had activity in the war. Rescued 91 ships in distress and 363 survivors. There were also Civil Air Patrol casualties. Between 59 and 64 Civil Air Patrol members lost their life in World War II with 90 aircraft. They did search and rescue for 24,000 hours. 1 week in February of 1945, they found 7 missing military aircraft, just in 1 week. They also did Red Cross Mercy missions, fire patrol, mock raids, target towing, and a few other ways they helped out during the war effort. Since then, Civil Air Patrol was completely non-combat role. We did have a big participation, well, not big, we had the only participation of any civilians during 9/11. After 9/11, the week after that, when the airspace was shut down, the only civilian flying in the sky was Civil Air Patrol. We have 3 main areas of focus: cadet services, which cadets can go from ground to orbit. U.S. Air Force Colonel Eric Bowe, retired, was a pilot for the Space Shuttle Endeavour and Space Shuttle Discovery on 2 missions. And now he's still a CAP senior member, and he's also a partner with SpaceX and Boeing for NASA. So that's where our cadets, if they say, well, what is the limit the sky? No, the sky's not the limit. We can go beyond that. And he was a cadet in the 80s. We have emergency services, which talk about twice this month, and we have aerospace education, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. And that's pretty much the rest of it. I'm going to skip over it for now. So the STEM program that we have here, it's called an Aerospace Education Members Program. The Aerospace Education Members Program is for anybody who is a formal or informal teacher in a school, youth organization, museum, library, homeschooler, and there's an other category which basically covers everything. There are over 30 free national standards-based education materials, a free Aerospace Education Excellence Award program. They're eligible to apply for $250 in grants for AE projects at their schools or other. There's a myriad of online AE and STEM activities and career resources. When we just talked about the orientation rides, there's also a teacher orientation program flight. So we actually, that's another way to get hours for flying, is get those teachers up in the air. The AEM members have no uniforms. They have a one-time $35 fee, and there is a free renewal, and they don't have to go to any CAP meetings unless they want to. This is the, when they sign up, this is the form they're basically going through to select what options or how they fit into the program. So as you can see, there's a big other box down at the bottom. So those are the main categories they list, but there's others that could come up different ways that people could be involved with educating a child. Basically, that's the criteria. Are you involved with educating a child in any way? You can fit into any of these categories. You can sign up as an AEM. These are some of the books that you get. We actually have them all up here on the table here, so I'm going to skip through that one. The big thing in the program, and this is one that drew a lot of attention at the Plains and Treats events, is the STEM kits. Now, I went through today and got the current Amazon list price for everything that I could find in our STEM kit to give you some idea of the value of the AEM program. So if you're talking to those teachers that any homeschoolers, any scout leaders, any of those people that in any of those categories I mentioned, and want to get them on board with this program so they can get these tools in these kids' hands, this I think is the big motivator, selling point. So as I mentioned, it's a $35 one-time fee. That $35 is never paid again. All they have to do is every year they renew and say, yes, I'm still interested in the program. Yes, I'm still teaching kids. Yes, I'm still alive. Because that is a criteria. So the Amazon list price on these items, that $35 fee, these are the different kits they have. One called Anglegs, which basically is for teaching about angles and geometry. I couldn't get an exact price on that because I couldn't tell exactly which kit they give us, but the cheapest one is $7.38. The most expensive one is $110.05. The next one, bridge building, it's a balsa wood bridge, not balsa wood, it's something else. Bridge construction material so that you can figure out how bridges are made. That's I did confirm that was $125 just for that kit alone. And you go down all the way down this list. You have build and learn geometry. I put question marks because I couldn't tell exactly which kit. If there's a question mark, that's because I couldn't tell exactly what kit it was. So I got the cheapest one and kind of guessed. The build and learn geometry, $25. I think it's going to be 5 of those kits based on what they said was in the kit. Cross country navigation kit, $234. Flight simulator kit, which we have over here, $415 is the current going rate for what they include in there. They include a yoke, a rudder pedal, a throttle, and a throttle quadrant they call it, and a subscription to X-Plane. So all that is included in that. Adds up to $415 or so. The indoor quadcopter, outdoor quadcopter is not currently available, and so I couldn't tell what the prices are. I think they're updating the actual offerings. Remote control aircraft sim is $200. Snaptricity, so you can learn about electrical circuits. There's 2 of those, Snaptricity and Snap Circuits. Those are $63. There's a program called Straw Bees, which is again building construction. I couldn't figure out exactly which kit they gave you, so I had question marks there. They have space kits. The astronomy kit is $99. The hydraulics kit is $35. Mechanics kit, $39. Robotics workshop, which is one pictured, is $219. Rocketry is $174. And weather station, $168. That's one over here. And then the cyber kits. These are about coding and programming. The Bbot Go and Code and Go mouse is $99. Let's Go Code is $22. Raspberry Pi currently not available. 30 Days Lost in Space, that's right in the middle there, is $97. Sphero Bolt and Code Mat, $199 plus. Said $199 plus because the base part, the Sphero Bolt, is $199 bucks. I couldn't find the Sphero Code Mat pricing, so that's what that is. And the Sphero Indie STEM Kit is $150 bucks. Now, I meant to mention these prices because these are the prices they would pay on Amazon if they wanted to buy these for their classrooms. They don't pay a thing to get them from CAP. These are 100% free. They are theirs to own for life. They don't return them. They're not loaned. It's not a library. They keep them. And so the criteria, a prerequisite, you must be, to be a member of the STEM kit or a STEM kit, you must be a CAP member in the aerospace education positions, a squadron commander, or a CAP member who signed up as an educator, or you can sign up as a CAP AE member, which is what we were talking to everybody on Saturday about. The CAP 8, obviously the CAP member program, they're full CAP members. They have the uniforms. They have all the rights and responsibilities of every other CAP member. The CAP AE member, again, no uniforms, no meetings. They just log on and they request what they want and do the evaluations and take care of it, and then it's all theirs. It belongs with their school. Again, when you're talking to a teacher about this program, what you would want to emphasize is that you would not just want to have one teacher in the school signed up. You want to try to emphasize getting the whole school signed up, because what will happen is they can, if there's only one teacher signed up, they can only get one kid at a time. And when they finish this testing and such on that kit, then they can request another kit. So if you factor in, they request, it's going to take about a month to get a kit. So when you factor the school year, that may be about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 kits if they're really efficient in getting per year. But if they sign up their whole school, every teacher can request a kit right at the start of the school year, and they can then request another one 2 months later, and then request another one. And by the end of the school year, they might have every kit in the program, and they might have multiples of them. So that way, they can really outfit their school. The total kit value. So I mentioned the cost for any of these individual kits is nothing. The total kit value is greater than $2,400. That's the confirmed amount that I could tell. I could tell for sure you're spending at least $2,400. It could be upwards of $3,000 depending on what those other items weigh in at. As I mentioned, you request one kit at a time. The steps are pretty straightforward, especially for CAP, if you're familiar with any of our paperwork. The steps are, after you've signed up, you complete the online application form for the kit. You then administer pre-test. And the pre-test, if any teachers ask what that is, the pre-test is basically them coming up with a test for their kids in terms of what areas they may or may not, or what areas the kit would emphasize or would teach on. So, for example, if you're getting the weather kit, you might ask them things like, what kind of clouds are those? What kind, what is the wind? What happens when the wind goes? What's rain look? What types of rain are there? That type of thing. And then afterwards, they would administer the kit. Teach the kit about at least 6 hours is what they request, and then you would do another test and see if the kids' numbers, if the answers went up, they got more answers right. Typically, they find that 25% increase in test scores amongst kids who have these kits in their classrooms. Another good example, I was thinking about talking about the types of tests you could give if you were giving the flight sim. However, all the questions I thought of were more like you'd have to probably be a pilot to know the answer, so I didn't want to get into that. And then once you get that post test, you complete the online form, which is where you basically give the results of this is what my students scored 75 on before, they scored an average of 85 after the quiz. Boom, once it's done, then the teachers can go and request another kit. As soon as that online form is done, they can request a second kit, and then wash, rinse, and repeat. Right. They do encourage collaboration, so things like working across grade levels. So, for example, with the rocketry kits, they're required for 12 and up, or 10 and up. So, you might have the older kids launch the rockets, and the younger kids watching along and seeing how things go. With the flight sim, for example, you might have juniors or seniors who would be old enough to actually fly a real plane. So maybe you have a student pilot in the school who could teach the younger kids how the flight sim works. The other collaborations are across CAP units and between CAP units and schools. And this is where we can come into play. As AE officers or I believe in any person in CAP, we can go in and talk to the schools as assemblies, things like career days, all that stuff, to introduce kids to aviation. Because that's really, I know when I became a pilot, and it's one of the reasons why I really love this program. When I became a pilot, the first question I got asked from everybody at work, everybody in my social circles, everywhere, is how do you even start? And, I think it's probably just the best if what we can do is actually tell, introduce kids where this is how you start being a pilot. This is how you get involved in aviation. CAP cadets is a great way for them to get involved in aviation. They have scholarship programs for the cadets. It's called the Cadet Wings program, I think is what it's called, to get them actually in a flight school. And so those are, basically we bridge that gap between what we know and what they know. Because one of the things I said, when somebody first asked me that question, I was like, well, you go down to the airport and look for the sign that says "Learn to Fly Here" and walk in and give them money. And but a lot of people don't realize you can just go to an airport, a small one at least. An airport in their mind is LAX. The smallest airport they think of is Ontario, right? They don't think about airports like this. That's also why Saturday was such a great outreach opportunity, because a lot of people got to walk on on the ramp. I don't know about you, unless you got to an air show, you don't get to walk on a ramp unless you're, again, paying a lot of money to a flight school. So that's a really cool opportunity for us to be out there in the community, grow the presence of CAP, grow the presence of aviation in general. The other part of the aerospace member program is called ACE, the Aerospace Connections and Education. This is a free online curriculum, and they have, if you look at there, they have, for each grade level, they have increasingly complex, at least until their 6th grade, I guess they figure 6th grade, all they want to do is throw footballs. So they have increasingly complex forms of learning how about flight. So in kindergarten, it's just a little squishy ball that is a globe. In 1st grade, they get little balsa gliders. I'm sure we've all had some of those. And then they get little finger rockets with a rubber band in there. And then they get foam gliders. Then they get rocket planes with a wind-up propeller. And then they finally advance to the balsa planes with a rubber band propeller. And then, like I said, in my 6th grade, I guess they figure, they just want to throw stuff, so they get back to a rubber football. And again, that's a school program, so that it's again available for anyone grades 8 K through 6. So this is additional resources on top of the STEM kits that the teachers that we get signed up for this program can enjoy. And I'm not going to read all of that. Basically, it just boils down to, since 2007, ACE has reached over 600,000 students, and again, a 27% increase in science test scores when they have this program in their school. So this plays right into what Paul was talking about earlier about our kids not learning. We can do something about it. Again, who is eligible for ACE? CAP senior members who are educators and aerospace education members. So Paul and myself, we are actually not eligible. Well, retired educators. So we are not eligible. I was like, wait a second. So we are not eligible for this program. Lieutenant Younger is not eligible for this program. But if you are a CAP member who is an educator, you are eligible for this program. What groups can participate? It is designed around the school day. But again, you are, as an AEM, you might be a homeschooler, you might be a scout leader, you can still integrate these into your program, into whatever the plan is that you have to get that education to these kids. Again, museums, libraries, and to be honest, I totally forgot about museums and libraries being involved until I was reviewing my notes earlier today. And so I'm like, maybe I'll just go down to the museum and library tomorrow and see what they got. Maybe not tomorrow, I got a flight tomorrow, but next week. Scouting organizations, 4-H clubs, homeschools, and again, other youth groups. What does that mean? Find a youth group, they're other. The only thing about this one is this program is, again, since it's based around the school year and around the school day, you have until March to get anybody signed up to participate in this year's program if they sign up as an AEM today. If they sign up as an AEM in April, basically they'll have to wait until August of next year to sign up again. And the lesson materials, the courses are designed to use all the standard stuff that you see in a school project, construction paper, glue, balloons, straws, all that kind of stuff. And I mentioned earlier the Top Flight program, the teacher orientation program flights. The teacher orientation program flights is exactly what it sounds like. It's the orientation rights that we give to kids. We can also give those to the teachers that sign up, the homeschoolers, the scout leaders, whoever they are, the AEMs can all sign up, and they sign up. They sign up directly with the state director of AE, which their link is on the website, and they get a flight in a CAP airplane. Now, normally, as we know, who can fly in a CAP airplane? CAP members. So this is the only real opportunity for adults who are not full-fledged members of CAP to take a ride in a CAP airplane. So, that's a good thing. One of the ways that they do, they get a pre-flight they get a briefing before they fly, and they have the chance. It's kind of like a discovery flight. Anybody's ever been on a discovery flight, they've got the chance to take the controls. And one of the things I really like to do with this program is fly over the school. You have your teacher in the passenger seat right there, and you're flying along, and you say, "Oh, your school's over there," and as long as it's not, say, Ramona High School, which is right on the the traffic pattern here at Riverside, you maybe have them all go out into the football field or the playground, wherever they have at their school level, and I'll look up and basically you just fly, do a few turns around the point, just like you did before your, for your private check ride. And
I think they should do a nadir shot. Is what they should do.
yeah,
Wing.
and then have the teacher vomit out the window on the students. But gotta make sure I don't step on the button here to turn off my computer the hard way again. But yeah, that's an opportunity, and they can actually, depending on the equipment they have set up, we have a great radio operator here. They can probably even get it set up where we can have the kids on the ground holding a radio, and the teacher in the air talking to them on the ground as they're flying over, saying, "Oh, I see you, Billy, waving up at me," that type of thing. So it's a really cool program, really great way, again, to get the community involved. They are allowed to take videos and photos of the whole event. So it's really, like I said, in case you can tell, I really like this program. So I mean, if you heard me on Saturday, you heard me overflowing about this program. I really, really love this program because I look at it like, I knew how to get involved in aviation when I was a kid. My uncle was a fighter pilot. My dad was a pilot. My cousin is an airline pilot. My other cousin owns like 6 airplanes over at El Monte. It's like I knew how to get involved in aviation from the start, but a lot of kids don't. A lot of kids who really, you see it. What happens when a helicopter flies over a schoolyard? Probably like 3 out of 4 kids, their eyes are up there like, "Ooh, what's that?" Because or when a plane flies over, unless at Ramona High School and they have planes flying over literally every 5 minutes because of the traffic pattern. So it's a way really to give those kids get kids an advantage or involvement that maybe you have, maybe you didn't. Maybe, again, I don't know anybody's history. Maybe some of us didn't know about flying until we were 30 or 40 and then figured out how to get involved then. But wouldn't you have loved to have that opportunity, that knowledge when you were a kid of how to get involved? This is, sorry, I get a little passionate about this program. I have a video here. By the way, does that guy look familiar? I don't know who that guy
I
is.
can hardly tell.
Can I stop you for a minute? Earlier when you started, you said, we as a group are AEM members. Then as you continue, the individual who signs up becomes an AEM member. Is that correct?
No. No. We as CAP members, we are all, anybody who's in CAP as an AEO, as a squadron leader, or as a DAE, director of AE, is equivalent to an AE member. But the AE member program is specific to just non-full CAP members.
I want to sign up my grandkids. What is the procedure?
It's actually
Talk to their teacher.
It's not the
The
kid.
teacher has to sign
Yes,
up.
We're homeschooled, so there's no teacher. It's my daughter.
Yeah, you are.
She's
So-
the teacher.
She's the teacher.
so
She's
your
the
daughter's the
teacher.
teacher. So your daughter would sign up.
Yep.
Your daughter would sign up and say, "I'm a homeschooler." So going back to that, like the second or third slide, she would click the Actually, let me go back to it.
That's okay. That's fine.
So yeah, she would click
Homeschool.
other
That's homeschool.
Homeschool.
third column. Yes. So teacher, homeschool, and then for homeschool, right? Homeschoolers is all of the instruction areas. Like every instruction area applies except for JROTC, right? So homeschooler would click the box for math, science, technology, engineering, other, and AE, language arts, basically everything except JROTC, and boom, she'd be signed up that way. Unless she's also in JROTC, then she could click that box too. So that's what she would do. And then she would sign up, and then she would go to the order form, and click on what kit she wants, and get them in there.
Okay, where can one find the form?
The form,
Because when I look it up, it's an independent company.
it is on here. I'll get it to the.
Okay, is it on the CEP website? That's
It
on
is. It is on. Because I don't want to mess up with the presentation here.
there. That's okay. I'm just doing it for everybody else.
No. It's a good question. I don't want to leave because, as far as I know, like I said, we did tell a lot of people that we talked to on Saturday that we will be streaming this on YouTube too. So they might be watching. So let's get that information to them. So it would just be our main website, gocivilairpatrol.com, and
Under training?
it's under aerospace education, and join as an AEM is the. Let's see how easy it is to find right from the start of the website. Because I just Google it. Whenever time I want to do it, I just type in Civil Air Patrol AEM, and it takes me right to the sign up page. But if you go directly to gocivilairpatrol.com, hit programs, hit aerospace education, and AE programs.
That's fine.
And then from there it gives you a whole menu of options to pick from. So that's how to navigate to it. But again, I would just recommend just going to Google, typing in Civil Air Patrol AEM, Alpha Echo Mike, and select, and it'll take you right there.
The flyers actually on the back has a QR code to join as an AEM and to join as forgot what the other one was, but it's on the back of the flyer. The STEM kits. The STEM kits you can
So once you join as an AEM, all the rest applies. So ACE applies, Aerospace Excellence and Education applies, which I didn't really go over in this topic, and the STEM kit program all applies once you join as an AEM. And then I have this picture of some random guy is a video here. So let's see. Of course, the video would not have audio because I turned the audio down. Well, basically, he's rehashing everything I just said, so we'll just skip that. Any other questions?
Good job.
I'll just say one thing. Since we didn't get anybody here, please take some of the packets so that you can have the information to hand to anybody that's needed. And also, if you want to throw in a Wreaths Across America packet as well, maybe you can get some people to sign up for that as well. Stop scaring my screen.
All right. Let's see. Make sure I'm not staring blindly into the screen here.
Chris, I forgot to also mention,
Yes.
we're getting, the California Wing's getting 3 new 172s and at least one 182 or 206 in the
fiscal year.
We'll get the
As in
leftovers.
this fiscal year, this one that's coming up, but it might be the end of this fiscal.
All right. Any groups or anybody? I'm not going to go through the entire list, but does anybody have any comments, questions on anything presented tonight? Additions?
Just one other thing.
Yes,
on
Chuck.
887 Charlie. It's another spot on the autopilot. Just be aware of that. It's not a big deal.
We don't use autopilots.
What's
And we hand fly.
There you go.
No, definitely do. Okay. That's it. All right. Meeting adjourned, everyone.
We gotta cover